Logan Davidson, the underdog shortstop fighting for his big league dream. Does he have a shot at making the opening day roster? Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your host, Booney, one name. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. I'm here to bring you a real fan's take, covering everything from Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdowns, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans takes center stage. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. After today's game against the Padres, we will be 20% through spring training. And before you know it, opening day will be right around the corner. Our prospects that we have spoken about so often this offseason have struggled this spring. Is there any reason to have some type of concern? That's later. The A's defeated the Mariners yesterday 8-5 in Cactus League play, improving their record to 3-1 or 3-1-1, depending on how you look at it. We will review that game in just a bit. But first, in a world of baseball where dreams are forged in the backyard and tested under the relentless glare of stadium lights, few stories resonate as deeply as that of Logan Davidson, a name once whispered with excitement among scouts and analysts. Davidson's journey from a top collegiate prospect to a player clawing for a chance at the big leagues is one of resilience, grit, and unrelenting determination. Born with baseball in his blood and raised with a bat in his hand, Logan's story is a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of adversity. Logan Davidson's baseball journey began on a 50-acre farm in Charlotte, North Carolina. The son of Mark Davidson, a former major leaguer who won a World Series with the Minnesota Twins. Logan grew up surrounded by the echoes of his father's glory days, but Mark never forced the game on his son. Logan had to ask for permission to use the family's batting cage. It was this self-driven passion that carried him through the ranks of high school ball and into the national spotlight. At Providence High School, Davidson was nothing short of spectacular. A senior season that included a .430 batting average, 9 homers, and a 1.50 ERA earned him the Gatorade North Carolina Baseball Player of the Year award. Drafted in the 30th round by the Philadelphia Phillies in 2016, Logan turned down their offer to follow in his father's footsteps at Clemson University. And what a career he had at Clemson. As a 3-year starter, Davidson became the first player in school history to post double-digit home runs and stolen bases in 3 consecutive seasons. His .290 career batting average, 42 home runs, and 37 stolen bases were evidence of his talent. A switch hitter with raw power, speed, and defensive prowess, Davidson seemed destined for greatness. When the Oakland Athletics selected him 29th overall in the 2019 Major League Baseball draft, he was heralded as a safe pick with the potential to rise quickly through the system. But baseball, like life, rarely follows a script, and the road can be a rocky one through the minors. Davidson's professional career began humbly with the Vermont Lake Monsters in short season A-ball. His debut season was marked by struggles at the plate, hitting just .239 while striking out at a concerning 23.1% rate. The transition from metal bats to wood, a challenge that had plagued him during his Cape Cod League stints, proved to be an obstacle once again. Then came 2020, a year that derailed countless careers. The COVID-19 pandemic canceled the minor league season, robbing Davidson of a crucial year of development. When he returned to Double-A in 2021, rust was evident. He hit 212 with an alarming 30.1% strikeout rate. For a first-round pick with lofty expectations, these were sobering numbers. Yet Davidson refused to fold in 2023 after years of grinding through setbacks and refining his approach. He found his rhythm, a strong showing at Double-A Midland, where he hit 297 with a .863 OPS, earned him a promotion to Triple-A Las Vegas. There he displayed versatility by playing multiple infield positions and even some left field, showcasing a willingness to adapt for the sake of his dream. Last year in 2024, Davidson played some of his best baseball of his career, flashing his trademark power from both sides of the plate. But questions remain. His strikeout rate has crept back up, and skeptics wonder if his success in the hitter-friendly Pacific Coast League will translate to major league pitching. For all his progress, Logan Davidson's path to the A's is far from clear. The Athletics farm system is stacked with promising middle infielders, including Jacob Wilson, their number one prospect, who has already claimed an everyday role at shortstop with the big club. Other players like Darell Hernaiz and Max Muncy also vying for big league opportunities. Davidson finds himself battling not just his own shortcomings, but also fierce competition within the organization. Additionally, questions about his ability to handle major league pitching persist. His struggles with wood bats during his Cape Cod League days still linger in scouts' minds. And while his power is undeniable, his high strikeout rate and inconsistent walk numbers raise concern about his plate discipline, a critical factor for sustained success at the highest level. Logan Davidson received a non-roster invite to spring training this year, and so far he has been mashing. He is 3 for 6 with 2 shots off the outfield wall for doubles, in which I can still hear the bat echo. In his last at bat yesterday against the Mariners with the bases loaded, Davidson hit the ball so hard that the first baseman literally closed his eyes and made the play. 100% robbery. Or he could easily be 4 of 6 with 4 RBIs. Logan Davidson has been the second most impressive athletic at the plate this spring, right behind Lawrence Butler. But the odds are definitely stacked against him. First and foremost, we are only 5 games in. It's early, and he will have to stay on this type of pace to have a shot. If he doesn't, the A's front office will need to weigh roster dynamics carefully. So where does Logan Davidson go from here? At his best, Davidson has all the tools to become an impact player at the major league level. His switch hitting power and defensive versatility make him an asset capable of contributing at multiple positions. If he can refine his plate discipline and maintain consistent contact against top-tier pitching, he could carve out a role as an everyday player. Perhaps even like a Corey Seager, the type of presence that scouts once envisioned. On the other hand, if strikeouts continue to plague him and his offensive production doesn't translate against tougher competition, Davidson risks being relegated to a utility role or even stalling out as a career minor leaguer. The stakes couldn't be higher for the 27-year-old as he fights for what could be his final opportunity to prove he belongs in the show. Well, what's my final take on this whole thing? I'm betting on grit. Logan Davidson's story is one that every baseball fan should root for. He isn't just chasing a dream, he's battling through adversity that would have broken lesser players. From losing a critical development year to facing doubts about his ability to succeed with wood bats, the pressure of not living up to the hype when he was considered one of baseball's top prospects. Davidson has faced hurdle after hurdle, and yet here he stands, still swinging. As opening day approaches and roster decisions loom, Davidson's fate hangs in the balance. Will he get his long-awaited shot with the A's? Will he rise above the noise and seize his moment? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Logan Davidson embodies everything we love about baseball: the resilience of an underdog, the pursuit of greatness against all odds, and the unshakable belief that hard work can overcome even the longest odds. For now, all eyes are on spring training as this former first-round pick fights to turn potential into reality. And when that day comes, when Logan Davidson finally lives up to that potential, you can bet that every fan who knows his story will be cheering him on with all their heart. The A's play the Padres today at 12:05, and I think it's time that Mark Kotze give Davidson some real time. Before we get to today's game, let's review yesterday's game against the Mariners up next. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost. They are always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. How these little green wonders pack a protein punch. No shells, Wonderful Pistachios for that grab and go ease. The satisfying crack of opening each shell, it's like snack meditation. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. The A's played their 5th spring training Cactus League game against the Seattle Mariners yesterday, a division foe, and put on a show, delivering an 8-5 win over the Mariners in a game that had everything: clutch hits, patient at-bats, and a little late inning drama to keep things interesting. George Kirby started the game for the Mariners, who is one of the best pitchers in the American League. He had an 8-pitch inning to open up the first. Joey Estes started on the bump for the A's and matched the 0 in the bottom half of the first. In the second, J.J. Bleday worked a leadoff walk, which Kirby rarely does, And after a pitching change, Seth Brown walked as well. A wild pitch moved both runners into scoring position, and Zach Geloff came through with an infield single, which he needed badly after starting the spring 0 for 6 with 5 Ks to bring Blade home. It wasn't flashy, but it got the job done, putting the A's on the board first with a 1-0 lead. The Mariners responded in the bottom half with a solo shot from Rowdy Tellez, but that was all they could muster. Joey Estes shook it off and kept Seattle's lineup in check. The third inning is where things really started rolling for the A's. Lawrence Butler staying hot, singled. Miguel Andujar walked, setting the table. Tyler Soderstrom kept the line moving with a single to load the bases. After a couple strikeouts, the A's refused to let the rally go to waste. An RBI walk from Luis Urias pushed the go-ahead run across, followed by another walk to CJ Alexander. Then Zach Geloff took one for the team, literally getting hit by the pitch to force in another run. By the time the dust settled, the A's had put up a 3 spot to take a 4-1 lead. On the mound, the A's pitchers were dealing. Joey Estes, Mitch Spence, Noah Murdoch, Jason Alexander, and Mason Barnett kept Seattle's bats mostly silent through the middle innings, scattering a few hits but never allowing much damage. The defense backed them up, flashing the leather and keeping the Mariners off the scoreboard. Meanwhile, the offense kept adding on. Geloff stayed hot, driving in another run in the 5th. In the 6th, the A's capitalized on a Mariners miscue when Darell Hernaiz swiped second, then came home on a clutch single by Kyle McCann. A Logan Davidson double brought another run across, pushing the lead to a commanding 7-1. The A's tacked on one more in the 7th, thanks to some aggressive base running and a patient approach at the plate, making it 8-1 heading into the final frames. Seattle made it interesting in the 9th with 2 outs. They strung together a flurry of hits, cutting the deficit to 8-5 and putting the tying run in the on-deck circle off Mason Barnett, which was a shame because up until that point, Barnett, whom we acquired from the Royals in the Lucas Ursay deal, looked dominant. But the A's and Barnett weren't about to let this one slip away. A ground out to second sealed the win, and the A's walked away with a well-earned victory. This game was everything A's fans want to see. Strong starting pitching, a patient and disciplined offense, and contributions from up and down the lineup. Geloff and Urias delivered in key moments. Butler and McCann sparked the offense, and the pitching just did enough to close it out. If this game is any indication, the A's are playing with energy and confidence. A few individuals I did not mention is our prospects. And let's talk about our prospects, with whom I spent practically the entire offseason talking about. First, let's recognize where we are and take it from the right perspective. It's spring training, the time of year when baseball fans dust off their caps, oil their gloves, and collectively lose their minds over meaningless stats. I'm guilty. This is the season of eternal optimism, where every team is undefeated and every prospect is the next coming of Babe Ruth. Unless, of course, you're an A's fan currently watching the future of your franchise go a combined 2 for 31 at the plate. But hey, who's counting? I'm guessing, just me. Hey, let's break it down, shall we? The A's top prospects are off to a less than stellar start this spring. But let's not hit the panic button just yet. These kids are greener than the outfield at Sutter Health Park. By the way, is that done yet? And they've got plenty of time to figure out. Grab your sunflower seeds, sit back, and let's take a closer look at the early adventures of these young guns. First, Jacob Wilson, the 2023 6th overall pick out of Grand Canyon University at just 23 years old. Wilson has all the tools to become a cornerstone of this franchise. Sure, he's currently 0 for 9 at the plate, but let's not pretend like we're expecting to hit 400 in his first week of spring training. Next, let's talk about Nick Kurtz, the A's shiny new 2024 4th overall pick out of Wake Forest University. At 22 years old, Kurtz has the kind of raw power that makes scouts drool and pitchers sweat. Sure, he's only got 2 hits so far, but one of them was a rocket double that probably left a dent in the outfield wall. Trust me, this guy is going to be launching balls into orbit by midseason. Max Muncy? No, not that Max Muncy, but give him time. This Max Muncy is a 22-year-old former first-round pick from 2021 who skipped college and went straight into pro ball. He's currently 0 for 4 this spring, but let's cut him some slack. He's still adjusting to big league pitching, which is basically trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded. Muncy has been praised for his plate discipline and sneaky power, so don't let his slow start fool you. He's like one of those fancy sports cars that takes a minute to warm up before it hits full speed. Once he gets going, he'll be tearing up the bases like it's nobody's business. Denzel Clark, the human highlight reel. Well, eventually. A 2021 4th-round pick is also off to a 0 for 4 start. But let me tell you something about Clark. This guy is an athlete, like makes you feel bad about your own lack of coordination kind of athlete. At 6'5", with speed to burn and power to spare, Clark has all the tools to be a future star. Colby Thomas, minor league phenom, meets big league reality. The 2022 third rounder who tore up the minors last year, but has yet to find his groove this spring, 0 for 5. Look, baseball is hard. Hitting a round ball with a round bat, traveling at 95 mph, is basically like trying to hit a mosquito with a toothpick. Thomas has already shown he can rake in the minors, so there's no reason to believe he won't figure it out at the big league level. It's spring training, everybody. Relax. And am I talking to myself? Absolutely. Let me remind you of one very important fact. These games don't count for anything other than giving players a chance to shake off the rust and try not to pull a hamstring. The Ace prospects are young, and they are facing some of the best pitchers in the world for the first time. Struggles are part of the process. Even Hall of Famers like Mike Trout and Derek Jeter had their fair share of rough patches early on. So take a deep breath, A's fans. These kids are going to be fine. In fact, they are going to be more than fine. They are going to be great. Wilson will start spraying line drives all over the field. Kurtz will launch moonshots into the sky. Muncy will channel his inner slugger. Clark will make highlight reel plays that leave us all speechless. And Colby Thomas will remind us why he was such a highly touted prospect in the first place. For now, let them struggle, let them learn, and let us all enjoy the chaos that is spring training baseball. Because if there's one thing we know for sure about these A's prospects, it's that their best days are still ahead of them. And when they finally put it all together, oh boy, it's going to be worth the wait. So grab your popcorn or your peanuts and Cracker Jacks and enjoy the ride. After all, isn't that what being a baseball fan is all about? Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the off season. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. I will see you all tomorrow.